It's the largest rainforest in the world, one of the most biodiverse places on Earth, home to millions of plant, animal, and insect species. In this virtual field trip, we visit the Amazon. Welcome to National Geographic Base Camp in Washington, D.C. Our city is the indigenous homeland of several Native American tribes, including the Piscataway tribe and the Nacotchtank tribe. And my name is Krista Strahan. I'm your tour guide on this virtual field trip. Have you ever wanted to go on an adventure to the rainforest? Well, today, to celebrate Earth Day, we are visiting the Amazon. The Amazon is the world's largest tropical rainforest. It covers the majority of the Amazon River Basin in South America, more than 2 million square miles. The Amazon is also a hotspot of biodiversity that includes 2.5 million insect species, 40,000 plant species, and thousands more birds, mammals, amphibians, reptiles, and fish. The Amazon faces increasing challenges, however. Human activities like logging and mining threaten this critical ecosystem. The National Geographic Society funds explorers who seek to better understand and protect the Amazon. This Earth Day, we are launching a multi-year effort to raise awareness and support explorers in the Amazon. We're going to meet some of these explorers today. First, we're going into the field with the Peruvian biologist and explorer who is studying a species that you might not expect in the Amazon: bears.
I grew up in a small town in the high Andes. When I was little, I used to go with my father to the field to collect seeds and then go to the high Andean communities to plant them. Trees are like our grandparents. They are looking after the family, the little trees, the little plants, and all the wildlife around. I study plant-animal interaction, and my work is focused in trying to understand the life of a very charismatic and cultural icon, the Andean bear. The Andean bear is the only bear in South America. They have a big altitudinal range, and they are the few mammals that move without problem from 200 up to 4,000 meters above sea level. And the bears play a key role moving seeds, helping in the regeneration of the forest. Our study area is located in one of the steepest, rainiest part of the Amazon basin. I love to hike, I love to do expedition, explore new places, so I like the challenge. I love the Andes because it's my home, but also it's a very important ecosystem. Trees and plants play a key role for the animals, but the animal, like the bears, also is playing a key role to maintain these trees and the plants. They are together. My name is Ruth Mary Pilcoarcaya. I work as a wildlife biologist in the high Andes of Peru, studying the Andean bear.
Well, we have a special treat today because Ruth is talking to us from the field. Welcome, Ruth.
Hi, Krista. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, it looks gorgeous where you are right now. Tell us, what country are you in right now? And is this where you do most of your work?
Well, right now I am in Peru, in the high Andes, and that is my office. I basically live here.
Gosh, that's fascinating. Can you please tell us more about the Andean bears? How big are they, and what type of habitat do they live in? And why are they called Andean? Can you just paint us a picture?
Yes, of course. The Andean bear is the only bear that we have in South America. They are vegetarian. 90% of their diet are vegetarian. And they're called Andean bears because they live here on the Andes.
Okay, can you also explain what a cloud forest is?
Yes, like the cloud forest, as you can see behind me, we are covered in cloud. We have medium-sized trees, and they are covered on epiphyte, on mosses, in orchids. They are beautiful. Like, it's just when you are on the ground, it's like you're walking in a canyon of mosses.
Fantastic. And how do Andean bears and the cloud forest come together in this research that you're doing?
So the cloud forest is the main habitat of the Andean bear. Like the Andean bear like to eat the bromeliads. And you are wondering what are the bromeliads. So the bromeliads are from the pineapple family. So we love to eat pineapple, but the Andean bear like to eat the leaves. So the cloud forest is habitat for the bromeliads. If we walk around, you will see all the trees covered in bromeliad.
Okay, now can you break down what you'll be doing over the next year and the impact you hope your research will have?
Yeah, we'll be doing lots of fun expeditions, camping for weeks, taking camera traps and settings, so hopefully we can have pictures and videos of Andean bears.
Oh, that's amazing. And Ruth, finally, what is the cultural significance of the Andean bear? And how is community conservation playing a role in your work?
So the Andean bears are like the engineers of the cloud forest. So they eat lots of seeds, lots of fruits, lots of seeds from different trees, and when they are walking through the forest, they disperse them, so they are helping to grow the forest. And for the Andean people, for our culture, it's very important. It's an iconic animal. They are the guardians of the glacier, they are the guardians of the water. And that's why we are working with communities, and communities are helping to restore the forest, growing new forests, planting trees so they can bring more the bears, and the bears can bring more seeds. And in this way, more species of animals like birds, foxes can make the forest again.
This is such a great project. Thank you so much for joining us, Ruth.
Thank you, Krista. I invite you to everybody come to Waykecha, to the cloud forest. Bye-bye.
Now let's take a second to think about this. What animal species are important to you? And what can you do to help keep those species safe? Take a quick minute to think about that. One species that's important to me is the great blue heron. When I was a kid, we'd take trips to the marshes and wetlands of the Chesapeake Bay and learn all about them. But enough about me and the United States. Let's head to Brazil. Our next explorer, Angelo Bernardino, is a marine ecologist studying mangrove forests in the Brazilian Amazon. Don't know what a mangrove is? Let's learn.
I grew up on the countryside of Brazil, but it was only when I started to study marine ecosystems that I had the chance to be inside a mangrove forest. I felt amazed to discover this place where the ocean and forest connect.
Mangroves are unlike any other coastal ecosystems.
They are critical for coastal subsistence of millions of people, but also for the balance of our planet.
Mangroves also help to protect coastal areas from hurricanes and storms that are becoming more intense with climate change. Mangroves are really efficient in trapping carbon in these soils, not only to help remove the excess amount of greenhouse gases from the air, but also because part of this carbon is transformed into food for a range of marine organisms. When mangrove trees are removed, they lose their capacity to sustain life. So the loss of mangrove forests worldwide would be catastrophic to our fight against climate change. We are for the first time exploring the links of coastal mangrove forests with the Upper Amazon Basin to understand the importance to global climate and to the lives of coastal communities.
We are measuring trees and collecting soil samples to determine the carbon levels stored in mangrove forests. Once we understand their role in helping us to adapt to climate change, we can better advocate for their protection. I really hope that we can, through better investigation, through better science, and through cooperation with other people, make a difference towards the preservation of these ecosystems.
My name is Angelo Bernardino. I am a marine ecologist and I am dedicated to the study and conservation of marine ecosystems in Brazil.
Well, we are so excited to visit with Angelo today, who is at this very moment in the rainforest. Welcome.
Hi, Krista. I'm so happy to be here.
So it looks like the mangroves of northern Brazil are kind of like underwater forests. Are the mangroves like this all year round?
That is true. That's very true. Mangroves are what we call wetlands. So they are half of the day under the water. You know, we have tides on the coast, and the tides inundate the mangroves for half of the day, and they retreat for the rest of the day. So they are wetlands.
Oh, that's amazing. And why is it important to protect the mangroves?
Oh, mangroves are super rich. They're forests. And being a forest, it means to hold a number of really interesting organisms. For example, fish, all kinds of fish and crabs and shrimp. You can find a lot of life under the mangroves. So they are super important ecosystems on the coasts.
Okay, so Angelo, you're studying how mangroves are changing. What are the threats that you're most concerned about?
Oh yeah, well, we see many threats to the mangroves. And the main one is probably deforestation. Some people, they go and cut the mangroves to build land, you know, or to cultivate shrimp. So these are really important threats that we need to take care of. We need to avoid destruction of mangroves as they are so important, as I just said, for marine life.
Well, this looks like a tough place to do research. What are some of the day-to-day challenges of working in the mangroves?
Oh, it is such a challenge. I'm just gonna tell you a few. So, imagine you were working in a tree forest, so dense and so difficult to walk that it takes you a lot of time to walk around like 100 meters. And also, while you're trying to walk around the trees, around the roots, you need to avoid the mosquitoes. There's mosquitoes everywhere. And also, we are on the mud. So we get stuck in the mud all the time, trying to climb on the trees and trying to avoid the mosquitoes. It is just a challenge.
That is unbelievable. Well, this is such interesting work. Angelo, do you have any final thoughts for the students watching?
Well, I think I would suggest them to try to go and get to know a mangrove. They are such beautiful forests on the coast, such a different place to be. You know, so if you have a chance, try to go to one, try to visit one.
Thank you so much. It has been so wonderful visiting with you.
It was my pleasure. I hope to see you again soon. Take care, you all.
We learned some incredible things about the Brazilian Amazon mangroves. Let's review them quickly. The Brazilian Amazon has the second largest share of total mangroves in the world. These underwater forests protect the coastline of Brazil from erosion and impacts of climate change. Mangroves are home to many species, including fish, which support many local communities. And finally, mangroves are important for capturing carbon from the atmosphere. We are so grateful to Angelo and his team for helping to protect these important habitats. For our final visit today, we're staying in Brazil, where a National Geographic young explorer is combining her artistic talents and her love of birds to bring us all a bit closer to nature.
When I was 10 years old, I started to photograph, study, and fall in love with birds. Brazil is the most biodiverse country on the planet. So I got to see a lot of these fascinating animals right in my own backyard. Five years later, on my 15th birthday, I traveled to the Amazon rainforest for the first time. It was one of the most profound experiences I have ever had. I remember watching a musician wren sing in the core of the rainforest and thinking that the entire jungle was following along as if it was a symphony. When I went back home to southeastern Brazil, I was excited to share my passion for nature with others. My friend Gersoni and I produced a field guide of the birds found in our community and started giving classes about nature and birds for children from ages 10 to 12 in my school. We take them to the outside and educate them about local birds, ecology, and conservation. We are now expanding this project to other schools and teaching children in the community about wildlife photography and nature. Our mission is to spark curiosity in young people so that they fall in love with nature and want to protect it. And I believe now, more than ever, that youth and local people can be conservation heroes and the true agents of change.
My name is Lorena Patricio. I am a 19 years old conservationist from Brazil, a National Geographic young explorer.
Such a great project, Lorena. Welcome to your first virtual field trip.
Thank you so much. I'm super glad to be here.
Now, Lorena, where are you right now? Your background is amazing. It almost looks like a Zoom background.
Yeah, it's not. It's real. It's my garden in my house here in Brazil. It's really awesome. There are a lot of birds singing and the nature, I love.
Oh, that's amazing. Lorena, you're a college student now, but you started this project when you were 15. What inspired you to do it?
So I think that what inspired me in the first place is because I started to study birds and photograph birds by myself when I was 10. And I couldn't find much young people, especially like other people in general, but especially young people who were doing the same thing in my area. So I think that now I want to pass this knowledge to others. And that was inspiring me in the first place to create a bird field guide for the species in my area, to start doing activities with kids so they can start connecting with nature.
So what have you learned about birds and why people are so interested in them?
Well, I learned a lot about birds, and they taught me so much about nature in general. Like, they opened my eyes to a full picture of everything that's happening around me. And I think that is the thing that I like the most about them, because they connect me with my surroundings. They also connect me with like plants and insects and everything. And I think that people are attracted to them because they are so colorful, so accessible. Like you can go to the city and watch a bunch of species, and you can find like wild mammals in the city, but birds are there. So I think they are really amazing to get people connected with nature.
Lorena, what advice would you give to our students watching today about how they can make a difference in the world around them, even as young people?
Yeah, so I'd say that the first thing is to follow your passion. It might sound cliche, but it's true. Like you can't do anything if you don't love doing that. Maybe your passion is music, so follow your passion. Try to find something big that you want to change in the world, but start small and go gradually. And then try to find people who are going to give you support, because that's crucial. Like you can't do anything alone, especially if you are young. But like you hold the power. I believe in youth can do everything, but we need to be together to be able to change the world.
Follow your passion and find people to support you in that. I love that. Thank you so much, Lorena, for joining us.
Thank you so much. It was really nice to be here. Thank you.
National Geographic has a long history of supporting explorers who are passionate about protecting the wonder of our world. One of those explorers is the late Dr. Tom Lovejoy. Tom was a field biologist and conservationist who worked in the Amazon rainforest for over 50 years. He received his first grant from National Geographic Society in 1971 to study birds in the Amazon. Tom was a wonderful collaborator and mentor to so many other explorers and brought attention to the fragile state of our environment throughout his long career. Tom passed away in December 2021. We will close our field trip today by sharing a tribute with you all. His was truly a life well lived, and we hope Tom's story will inspire you to keep exploring. Thanks for joining me.
The first time I walked into the forest, my first reaction was, it's really green here. I've never seen so many shades of green in my life. I'm Tom Lovejoy. I'm an environmental scientist, a biologist, field biologist, but also a conservationist. I first went to the Amazon in June of 1965, so that's 50 years. I got the opportunity to go to the world's largest wilderness, and I never looked back. The Amazon is the single largest repository of biological diversity on land. Sort of like having the biologist's equivalent of a Christmas stocking that you never got to the bottom of because there are always new and wonderful things. There has been incredible change since I first set foot in the Amazon. When I first got there, there was one highway from the capital, Brasilia, to Belém, the port city where I was living. There was like 3 million people in the entire Amazon. It's way over 30 million today. There's been a lot of deforestation. Right now the Amazon is at a 20% deforestation level. And I think that's the tipping point. As we eat away at the Amazon, it eats away at that incredible diversity. It's also just like book burning, because every species is a unique set of solutions to a unique set of biological problems, any one of which can suddenly be of great importance. I think the next 50 years will be the test, whether all the good things that have been done, all the good trends consolidate into something which actually maintains the Amazon as a whole. the change has to be made now. My work will never be done, but obviously I'm only going to be able to contribute, as long as I'm breathing. My hope is that some of the things I've started will lead to a new generation thinking about the Amazon as something to be treasured and to be husbanded and to be taken care of, and to provide that joy of scientific exploration and associated human benefit forever.